Thank you for that. And I can't tell you how pleased I am, Richard, to be here while you are being honored for 60 years with Rotary. I mean, what another great honor to add to your legacy. So again, if you would, for Richard. Look, I became commissioner formally January 8th of this year. I was actually commissioner-elect of August 15th of 2023. That actually gave me an extra 6 months to get ready for this job. And I tell you, I needed the 6 months, and I've taken advantage of every day of that. Because look, when I assumed office, we were deep in the deepest insurance crisis our state, our citizens, our businesses have ever experienced. For those of you that know people in the insurance industry and they've been in it for a long time, ask them, talk to them. They'll tell you it's the worst it's been in 50, 60, as long as they can remember, as long as it goes back. It's never been this deep. So when I took office, we had experienced, starting with August of 2020, Laura, then Hurricane Delta, then Hurricane Zeta, and then Hurricane Ida. 4 storms, 2, some of the strongest our state's ever witnessed in a 12-month and 2-day period. 800,000 claims as a result of those 12 storms, or those 4 storms. $23 billion in losses that were paid by the insurance company, money that came back into our economy. 12 companies went insolvent. 12 companies that took your hard-earned premium, your dollars, your wages. You paid it to them in premium. And when you had a claim, they weren't there for you. On top of that, another 24 companies just said effectively, we're done. We don't want to do business in Louisiana anymore. So you had an availability issue, not as many companies wanting to write property, and you had an affordability issue with that. Premiums going up, reinsurance costs going up. But on top of the property crisis, we've already been living the auto crisis for, in my opinion, the last 15 years. Commercial trucking, commercial auto in our state has climbed higher and higher and higher every year, to the point now where it's the highest in the country. We've got businesses that are idling vehicles, letting go drivers, because they can't afford the auto insurance anymore. On top of that, flood insurance, for those of you that buy flood. Risk rating 2.0, administered by the federal government, is a dismal failure, but we have to buy it. We don't have a choice. And then, of course, you've got climbing healthcare cost. And then workers' compensation on top of that, 4th highest rates in the 4th highest expense in the country. So we've got just accumulation of all of these pressures bearing down on Louisiana. And so when I took office, and you heard, I grew up in this industry, and I'm very proud of it. You know, I get accused of being a fox in the henhouse because I actually know something about insurance. I'm going to regulate it. You know, and we were talking on the way over here tomorrow. The Department of Insurance, they've got a Halloween party, and they asked me if I was going to dress up, and I'm like, no, I don't think so. I've got some interviews to do, and then it's like, well, maybe I should drop it as a fox, you know. But no, I think it's a good thing to actually understand an industry that you regulate. And like I said, when I took office, I understand the pressures that businesses are facing, the challenges that families are facing every day. Do I pay my homeowner's insurance, or do I pay my mortgage? Do I pay my car note, or do I pay my car insurance? Do I pay my insurance at my business, or do I buy additional trucks? Do I open a new business? Do I hire more employees? I mean, these are challenges that we're all facing in our state. And so when I came into office, I worked with the industry. I worked with all stakeholders. Agents, companies, reinsurers, consumer advocates, attorneys, individual business owners, and we collectively came up with what we agreed were some of the problems. And then together we worked through some solutions on that from the property side. And when session started in March, we had a package of bills that was designed to address the property crisis. Also, the auto crisis. We just didn't get as much participation on that side. But it was a package of bills designed to bring balance back to Louisiana, to make Louisiana an attractive state for insurance companies. We want insurance companies doing business here. We need insurance companies doing business here. And over the last 2 decades, we've gotten away from that. You know, we beat up, we took advantage of. But guess what? Insurance, like a lot of businesses, they just passed on any extra costs to the consumer. That's us. And so we brought a package of bills designed to address that. And with the support of the governor and the House and Senate leadership, and a lot of strong members in both those bodies, we were able to get every single property bill that we brought to session. I don't know if that gets done a lot, but I was told that was pretty impressive. And I can tell you, as I travel the state and I travel the country, and I talk to reinsurers in other parts of the world, they noticed, and they have taken notice. And the comments are, you are restoring confidence back into the state from an insurance perspective, property. Reinsurers are giving companies credit for the reform that was passed, for the fortified roof program that we continue to fund, for the regulations that we've changed to help entice and promote our state from an insurance perspective. So we're making progress there. We're on the right path. And whenever I say we're on the right path, I invariably get the question, how soon? Right? We all want reform. We all want lower premiums. We all want competition yesterday. And I asked to people to look to Florida. You know, I told you we had 4 hurricanes in 12 months and 2 days. Florida had 1 hurricane, Ian. And after that 1 hurricane, they had 3 special sessions to address their crisis. 3. And they passed a lot of legislation, about a dozen bills over those 3. And this year, during the current hurricane season, with the forecast that we all have been hearing about since January, Floridians are, for the first time in many years, seeing rate decrease in their state. About 1.5 million policyholders in Florida saw a rate decrease. Another 1.9 million saw a flat, no increase. Raise your hand if you just like to get no increase, right? 1.9 million policyholders. 10 new companies are coming back and writing property in Florida. Over $1 billion of new capital has come into Florida because of the reform that they did. That took 24 months. You know, let's be, you know, Louisiana, let's do it quicker. But I'm out promoting it. I'm promoting the changes that take place. And we have companies that are paying attention. We have new companies that have filed applications with the Department of Insurance to come and write insurance, property insurance, for the first time. We will see benefit on that. We have conversations. I had one yesterday. I was up in the Northeast meeting with a bunch of insurance companies. I had a conversation with a big national company last week. They are looking at Louisiana, not because, oh, they want to come down and just they love us, but they're looking at Louisiana because they think you have changed the market. And I say me, I don't mean me. I mean the legislators, the ones that pass the laws. You've got to give them the credit because that's where it needs to go. But these companies are looking at Louisiana for the first time to want to come and do business. They're paying attention to what we're doing. And so I say with certainty that we are on the right path, and we should expect to see better days coming forward. Where we didn't make a lot of progress was on the auto side, as I said. Whether it's your personal auto or your commercial, we're paying some of the highest premiums in this country. We have we flat out are paying the highest. And we talk about economic development, which I want to get into in a little bit, but you know, when you want to promote your state, you say, come to Louisiana, move to Louisiana. We want you to move from Houston to Lake Charles and go work at the LNG facilities there. You know, we want you to move from Texas to come into Shreveport, or want you to come into Baton Rouge, or move from Mobile to New Orleans. Your auto's going to double. Your homeowner's is probably going to triple, if you can find somebody. Oh, and by the way, you got to deal with the education issues that our state has, tax issues, infrastructure. So it's really hard to promote our state sometimes. And I'm very pleased with the efforts that are being made on all that, on those issues. And again, I'll talk about those in a minute. But when it comes specifically to auto reform, again, we had a package of bills that was designed to address the issues. Not a lot of people were supportive, not as many as people should have been supportive of it, because it does make a difference. And we got almost everything we needed passed. We were able to get direct action. We were able to get third-party litigation financing. They changed the prescription period from 1 year to 2 years. We passed a collateral source bill, which you probably hear about and read about a lot, and it was vetoed by the governor. And I still haven't had a chance to sit down and have a heart-to-heart conversation with him on why he vetoed that, but I look forward to that opportunity because I want to understand what his concerns are so that we can go forward and pass the bills, pass the laws, make the changes needed to bring premium relief to you as an individual and to you as a business owner. And we're going to continue to fight that. Because like I said, you know, Louisiana is making a lot of changes. They passed criminal justice reform. They passed education reform. I think next week they're about to tackle tax reform. You know, but I was in Shreveport-Bossier last week or the week before, and I was giving a similar speech, and a gentleman came up to me afterwards. He's in the transportation business, and his comment was, "You can lower my tax burden to zero, but it doesn't change the economics of my insurance. I still can't afford my auto insurance." So we need all those things. We need tax reform, and I'm supportive of that, and I'm glad the governor's bringing the special session. I'm glad the legislature's supporting it. I'm glad of the criminal justice reform. But if we don't add this insurance component to it, I really don't think that we're going to move the needle much. Because like I said, we can make it attractive for companies to want to come in from a tax perspective. But if their employees or the businesses can't afford the insurance, then what have we really done? You know, I like to say, you know, we can have all of the new bridges that we want in this state. We can have all the smooth paved roads that we could dream of. We could have every neighborhood as safe and crime-free as that you want. But if you can't afford the homeowner's insurance to live on that safe street, and you can't afford the auto insurance to drive on that new bridge or that smooth road, then again, I think we need to take a look at ourselves and say, what are we really doing? And so I'm supportive of those efforts, but we need to keep insurance focused. We need insurance reform. And that's where I need you. I need your help. I need your stories. I need you to call Jeff Palermo. You know, write your newspaper. Do television interviews. Let the people know how insurance is impacting your decisions, whether it's as a homeowner, as a head of your family budget, or as your business. I mean, we need this message to go out. This is about the economic viability of our state. We are incredibly blessed when you look at Louisiana and compare it to any other state in America. No other state has the ports, the rivers, the waterways, the infrastructure with whether it's road, railways, pipelines, the utilities, abundant oil and gas, agriculture, timber. I mean, we build houses, we put up houses all over this country. You know, the oil and gas, they export it all over the world. I talked with Commissioner Strain, and we talk about the sugarcane farmers, you know, that when the price goes up here, that Hershey candy bar goes up all around the country, all around the world. We've just got such an abundance. And the people, you know, we've got a good, hardy people that love to live, love to hunt, love to fish, and love to work. But they're being held back. We are being held back by this insurance cost. And it doesn't need to be that way. Because I can tell you, our roads are not that much worse. Our cars are not that much older. They're not that much more expensive to repair. But let me tell you this, when we get in an accident in a car in Louisiana, for some reason, we're twice as likely to file a bodily injury claim. We're more fragile. I don't know why. I think we're much more hardy. You know, maybe it's all the fried food we eat. But we're twice as likely to file a bodily injury claim. And then we're almost 2.5 times more likely to litigate. We got to look at that. That's what's driving cost. It's not the fact that the Ford F-150 costs more here to repair. It's not the fact that we get in much more accidents than the national average. So we've got to truly look at that. And as I say to the legislators, I'm working with them, let's put it all on the table And then if collectively everybody decides we're okay with that economy, we're okay with the way that works, we're okay with paying these high insurance premiums, we don't have to do anything else. We just move on and fix something else. But I don't think we are. I think everybody is tired of paying the highest rates in this country. I think people are tired of sending insurance company money that they don't want to. And again, I'm from the industry, but I want you to keep more of your money in your pocket than send it to an insurance company through premiums. I want you to be in charge and decide where that money needs to go. Whether it's groceries or medicine or a different school, clothes for your family, expand your business. Like I said, buy more, materials, more trucks, add new employees. I want you to be in the position to make that decision, not, adversely against you because you got to pay insurance. So we got to balance that. We've got to really dig into it, and we're going to. And I'll tell you, the legislature, when I came in office January 8th and the rest of the legislature, everybody was sworn in, they quickly went into a special session to address judicial redistricting. And they went to another special session to have criminal justice conversations, reform. And then they went to a regular session in March and stayed through June. And then in July, House Insurance, Senate Insurance, House Civil Law, and Senate Judiciary Aid, those 4 committees, collectively, the chair said, we need to continue this conversation on insurance reform, on legal reform. And so they've called themselves into a hearing every month since July, starting with July. And they've had the first one, 4 committees, all in the same room, 4 committee chairs, 52 members, I think it was. The first one lasted 9.5 hours. And then in August, they broke back out and they held their respective committees. And they've done that every month since. And they're going to continue to do that until we can agree what needs to be done. Because you don't deserve to spend the money you are toward insurance as far as the premiums are concerned. If you did, I would be the first to tell you that. If you deserve to spend the most for your auto insurance and your commercial, I would stand up here and tell you, but you don't. Because like I said, our cars aren't that much more expensive to repair. Our roads aren't that much worse than other states. We don't have that many more accidents than the national average. Believe it or not, we actually have less uninsured drivers in our state than the national average. We have an uninsured or underinsured issue because we have minimum limits. But we actually, Mississippi has 25% of the drivers on the road, no insurance. But guess what? Move to Mississippi and get auto insurance, about half. So it's not just any one thing. So, I say this just to let you know, we are working tirelessly. Your legislators are working to bring about the solutions that you deserve so that we can change the insurance landscape. We can change the marketplace so companies want to come and do business. They want to write your car. They want to write your home. They want to write your truck. That's what we need. And I get asked all the time, well, you're the commissioner, just lower rates. And my magic wand, I didn't get to sign that when I took office, and I can't do that. But what I can do is set the conditions so that companies know that when they come to Louisiana, they're going to be treated fairly from a regulatory standpoint, but also from a legal standpoint, because they get that in other states. And so we just need to set the conditions so companies come back. And when they come back, you benefit. You're not going to change your insurance just because you want to. You're going to move your insurance because the coverage that you want is there and the premium is better. And when insurance companies start competing, you benefit. So that is the mission, that's the focus, that's my goal. It's what I get up for every day and work towards. And I'm not going to stop until y'all start saying, hey, it's too cheap, right? So with that, I am happy to take questions. Whatever format you want, whatever you want to ask. Jake from State Farm.
From State Farm. I work in the auto claims department. First of all, thank you for the work that you did on the homeowner side. Well done. I work in the auto side. I spend my day negotiating the high dollar claims with all the lawyers you see advertised on the billboards and on commercials. There's so many things I can address. I'm just going to have to pick 2. Number 1, is there anything that can be done about the attorney advertising? Because I'm telling you, it works. is an all-out assault to get millions of dollars out of their pockets, of the people in here, into the attorneys' pockets. And number two, the relationships that the attorneys have with doctors is a huge problem. They can easily get a doctor to say some little tap in the rear has caused lifetime problems with their necks and backs. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, but is there anything we can do about those two things?
Yep. Did everybody hear the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you repeat it? No, I'm kidding. No, look, and I'll tell you, obviously I've only been in office since January, but for years it's been set up as this epic battle between insurance companies and attorneys. And that's been the battle. And I don't buy into that anymore. Yes, we're litigious heavy. Can we do anything about advertising? I think that's, as you hear, the Supreme Court ruled and said, freedom to advertise for their business. So I don't think that you could do that. What we could possibly do is look at what is the message that's being advertised. I personally don't think that you need to hire an attorney just because you got in a wreck. Because, and I just had this conversation I had a Zoom call at my office speaking with some folks, and I was reminding them, when you have a claim, whether it's your home, your auto, whatever it is, the second that you hire an attorney, it's no longer a claim, it's litigation. The insurance company doesn't have the ability now to go and adjust your claim and make you whole. It's now become a legal battle. So, look, nobody is advocating, and when we talk about advertising attorney, I think you should be allowed to advertise. I do. I think the message needs to be maybe crafted differently. It's not up to my department, it's the Supreme Court. They're the ones that make decisions on that. And so maybe we need to get more involved and more vocal with our Supreme Court justices and tell them that they need to do maybe a different job than they're currently doing on that. Your second question was? With the doctors, yes. Look, one of the many benefits that we are seeing as having these hearings that I mentioned earlier is that the medical component is now being talked about from what I believe is the first time. I talk to insurance companies and they tell me that, their average claim in Louisiana is 4 times what it is in all the other states. And again, it's not because our trucks are any more expensive. It's because that we file bodily injury, we have big bills. It's the medical component. So, and this epic battle of, they want to pit it against that you're trying to slay a dragon. Look, you need insurance. You need attorneys. And we need medical providers as well. So I'm not advocating that we got to go and slay any dragon when it comes to that. We just need to rebalance the system. A broken arm needs to cost what a broken arm costs. And you need to you need to recuperate whatever that expense is. Not make better than. If it cost you $500 and that's what they billed you and that's what they paid, that's what you should get back. Not $10,000 because they can bill $10,000. So we're having those conversations, and that's starting to come out, and I'm looking forward to continuing to have those conversations. I'd really like for the medical industry to come and participate in the conversations. So if you've got any influence with some folks, please do that. Yes, sir.
Hey. Thank you for coming to speak to the Rotary Club of Baton Rouge, and also for everything.
I think your bike's off.
Oh, where's the button? Can you hear?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, now it's on. Thank you for coming to speak to our Rotary Club, and also for your efforts to deliver consumer choice here in the insurance market in Louisiana. I'm very concerned that the same racket that almost did in the Florida property insurance market is now back in Louisiana. In my neighborhood, we have roofing companies going around knocking aggressively on every door. The last one that came to my house, I saved the card for you.
I want it.
The next day, there were 3 new roofs being put up within 1 block of my house. This has been going on every day for several weeks now. And my concern is that a lot of insurers, just like what happened in Florida, they're not only going to drive up the rates, they're going to leave the state. And the consumer is blissfully unaware, if they're not getting a free roof, that it's going to come back to bite them with non-renewals and higher prices. Is your office actively going after these people again? I know you did drive out one unscrupulous law firm who was backing these roofers.
Right, and I appreciate, Mark, that's a good question, and the previous Commissioner of Insurance was the one that was responsible for that law firm that you mentioned, MMA. Look, let me make an uncomfortable statement here. Your insurance policy is not a roof maintenance policy. Okay? If you're using your insurance policy to replace a roof that you know that you need to replace, if you've got a 15, 20, 25-year-old roof and you're just waiting for a hailstorm, you're waiting for a hurricane, you're waiting for an event, you're not doing yourself and the rest of Louisiana any good. That's not how insurance is designed to work. And unfortunately, in Louisiana, a lot of that takes place. So, again, look, I've learned in this role, I can make everybody in the room mad if I speak for more than 6 minutes. But insurance is not, your insurance policy, your homeowners is not a roof maintenance product. Now, to your point about roofers, I think it was last week we issued a cease and desist order on 9 roofers that are engaged in insurance conversations with the potential customers instead of roofing conversations. That's not their space to be. And I'm not, again, we're you know, there's roofers out there that go, and we just, one was arrested based on our investigation. They go up and inspect the roof and punch a couple of holes and say, oh, you got damage. So, you know, again, look, just be wary when you're talking to roofers. You know if you need a new roof or not. You know if you had a hailstorm that damaged your roof or not. You know, again, if you're using your policy as a maintenance policy, then you're going to continue to pay more through higher premiums, and the rest of us are as well. So, yep. Time? Yep. Listen, that's it. They got the hook on me, so I will be happy to stay. If you have any other questions, I'll stay and take them for as long as I can. So thank you all again for letting me be here today.